into the #1 social media show on the net with your host, Bernardo, WBGF TV.
All right. Let's make sure that we good. Testing 1, 2, 3, Mister.
2, 3. Check 1, 2.
Make sure that we good over here. Give me a second. This is how I monitor my stuff. So I make sure. You have your Facebook. Are you can see your like so you can participate in the comments. Say for example.
Maybe I can. Do I want to? How about you? You can read them to me and I can react. Is that actually might be funny? Oh, wait a minute. I did have it over here, didn't I?
Yeah.
I'm having enough problem with one phone there, Bernardo.
Yeah, just as long as, for example, the sound. People share this video. Yeah. Share this video because today, in our Freestyle Talk interview, the one and only, and it's an honor. For me, it's an honor. The first time over here on my platform, a legendary producer, freestyle producer, Robert Federici. Did I get that right? Federici?
You got it.
I got it right, Federici.
I heard you saying Federici before, but the honor.
Yeah, because I come from Cuba. I'm a foreigner, and then I learned how to speak English over here, and sometimes I speak Spanglish.
Better English than half my clients.
I get it all messed up. I speak Spanglish and a lot of Spanglish and sometimes I talk too fast and stuff like that, so I don't get my thoughts together. And I have good intentions though. I want to say Federici, but sometimes
good. You said it perfectly.
Well, right now, yeah, because I your name is constantly around.
I heard you're rough. They gave me the lowdown.
Your name is constantly around being said around in the freestyle nation.
Oh.
Good things, only but great things, and you're good. What I'm trying to say is that you're good because your name is it's here. You know how they say in the music business that when no one says your name, that's when there's a problem.
Right.
Like if no one mentions your name, now you got yourself a problem. Mm-hmm. But as long as people are in the music business, when your name is being said on a daily basis, hundreds and hundreds of times, I mean, so you're very healthy, like musically very healthy. It means that, you're gonna need a savings account and a checking account and cash out. You're gonna need a lot of places where people can deposit, like your clients can deposit your money because nothing but the best coming up next for you.
Well, everybody always worked hard. We work hard there and we work fast there and we work hard there. And that's for years. And everybody out there knows I'm talking to all of you. And if the conversations go forward, I miss a name, don't be mad. But when we're in there, we work hard and I don't know. I like it.
Federici, how many years are we celebrating of producing freestyle this year, 2021?
Well, I have a good memory and I always try to be exact. I opened up. Well, I wanted to have a studio, and I'll make it quick. So by the grace of God, I saved money in '83 to buy a studio, and on August 6th, they had the convention to come out with MIDI. It was in Anaheim, and I was right on it. I knew nothing but MIDI recording, and I had a sampler earlier, a Kai sampler, Roland sampler. I had a DX7, one of the first Macs made that had the serial numbers. So '84, I opened in June. And so I'll be 36 years in June. Officially, the first freestyle artist that came into my place. And then I'm going to give it a little little twist on it. The first freestyle artist that came to me was Sammy C. He did he did a freestyle song there, and then I would go out to the clubs with my then partner Mike Fortuna, and we go, oh my God, that's that stuff that Sammy does.
Robert, he's one of your one of those singers that you've produced throughout the year. Her name is beautiful Stephanie Bennett. She's here, and she says, "There's my engineer." We got so much to talk about. So, but the name of the program is Freestyle Talk. So, I want to be able to the whole entire program is for you today. Today is your episode. Today is your program. This is all Robert Federici. So I want to take it back all the way from the beginning.
Good.
We want to know exactly how you made it into music, what got you into music, just music itself. And then little by little, we'll go to like 1984. And then from there on, sooner or later, we'll make a direct connect with freestyle.
Right.
You know
what? People would ask me, how do you go from being in rock bands and to doing dance music? And the answer is simpler than that. My band, we liked drum machines and we liked keyboards, even when they were, going back, you can do the math. Even in '79, we liked Prince. We liked Kool and the Gang. So we would play in clubs that were a little bit hick-like, and they'd be yelling at us because we didn't play a lot of rock. So really, we were always said, well, you guys aren't a rock band. You're a dance band. So naturally, I always liked electronics. It wasn't, you got to do what you are. I'm not a heavy metal guy. I mean, I have a few guys that come.
Share this video. Share this video, people. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I have to. It's what I did. We did a lot of. I say Prince.
Yeah.
Kool and the Gang.
So let's take it back from the very beginning. Okay, so what area are you from? Like, where were you born?
Philly. So I see the Philly skyline. I'm born in Camden.
Camden.
So part of my life is in Camden. When we went to school, we moved to Pennsauken, and I had a home studio for a century in Pennsauken, and then have been longer in an office building in Cherry Hill, next town over. I've been there 21 years in August.
Right.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about, like, for example, I want to talk about like how you started in music. Like when you was a kid, how was, you know what I'm saying? Like in school, were you in the school band?
Yeah, it was probably more than that is probably the two most important things is one, I had a dad who, although he did construction, he was more of a, something I can't do. It's like, he can build a car, but he always played guitar. And I was I wanted to always make my dad happy, I think, not as a teenager, but so he would take me to lessons, and I wanted to play, but I would hate it. So the two things, one, I always had a guitar, and two, there was always the old piano with cigarette markings in the basement. So I would sit there and just play songs, whether it was, so
so whose piano was this?
Huh?
Whose piano was this? Who played the piano?
It was like an old, but I would sit there with a songbook and just play. And you would try to play Beatles songs, or I would even try to play old Sinatra songs, even though that's way before my time. And
was the piano in tune?
Probably not. It had, like I said, but I even remember when I took my first piano lesson as a teenager, but I took guitar lessons, even quit playing.
Here we go. Okay, so how many brothers and sisters in your house?
I have one brother, my older brother, Ruben. Everyone who comes to the place knows he's an attorney. And
so he's not is he musically inclined?
No, he was the bass player in the band, and he sang. Okay. And it's just, as my father said to him, he goes, "How could you stand being in a band with me? Because I'm the pain, in this sense, like, complaining about how people are singing, complaining about tempos." And he's anybody knows him knows he's laid back. So when we got older, past 30, it's like, "Hey, you want to play?" And he said, "You out of your mind? I'll kill you." It's like, I'm not doing that. I think I'm going to practice and have to listen to you. So he's bad.
So when you and your brother were kids, you guys were really into music. You had a band. you know,
See,
and then
don't me more than him. And again, he was the bass player, so and he always knew his parts. But I was always like, "We're going to do this." I mean, I kid you not. I was. Everybody out there knows you have one guy in the group that gets on everyone's nerves. I even remember a time where driving down the road and the whole band was like, you're really getting on their nerves. You take this too seriously. And then someone else said it. And then my brother said it. And I pulled over the car and I said, who's got a problem? It's like I was so angry because I always took that seriously. And just like everybody listening out there who's in a group, you'll find one or two that take it seriously. And the other two are along. My brother was along for the ride, not in a bad way, but he didn't care if we played or not. But he got prepared. But
so your brother didn't make the transition all the way to MIDI and everything that you did later on.
He did some studio recording. We even recorded the Studio 4, but live bass. But he could care. He can care less. But it's like that. If you're in a band of four, like a lot of a group of four people, you got two people that argue, write the songs, always have an opinion. Have two that come in, and everybody out there. So every band's like that. My brother was just he's enjoying it.
Robert, does your brother nowadays? Does he wanna jam with you guys once in a while? Does he get no nostalgia? Like, yo, my bro, I want to go to the studio. Could we chill? No.
No, I gave up on that.
Nope. Oh, so you did try. You did try to say, yo, my bro, what's up?
Even now, like every once in a while, I play. We don't know where music is going at this age, but I said, if the bass player can't make it, why don't you learn the parts, be a backup bass player? And he got angry. So, but that's it. I mean, I don't want to take it too far into that, but no, he's a lawyer.
He's a lawyer. He became a lawyer, and you did the transition all the way from. Okay, so before we do that, let's go back to So you was a kid in Camden. Until what age you and your family stayed in Camden, in the area of Camden?
Probably 4.
Oh, so little. 4.
Yeah, moved when I started school, but my family lived. Everyone from my grandmother was in Camden, so everything you did, you shopped, you bought, you lived. Every aunt and uncle. We moved over to Pennsauken, and everyone's been to my house. So, and that's probably when I started going to Pennsauken schools. Right when we started school.
Okay, so so the first time, so obviously we already understand that your dad was he loved music. He played the guitar. So you heard music in your house all the time.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah,
more or less. Did dad wanted you to be a musician? Did he?
I think he wanted me to play guitar. I mean, yeah, he did, but he didn't force it. And and for whatever it's worth, he was a dad. I mean, and I'll go as far as say he wasn't. He wasn't. I loved him, but he wasn't. He was a World War II generation smoker, drinker. So I'll love him forever.
And mom, how did mom feel about you playing guitar, and did she enjoy the whole kid in music?
They would come out and. My father, the original Polygon, my father helped me build. He was like, I can't do it. He put up the octagonal walls, and him, and my partner. I'm going to give you an interesting story that I tell that people always feel bad about understanding my parents. Not that anybody needs to understand my parents. On my high school graduation, and I tell this all the time, but it's not to damn them, but to give you a visual. I had my cap and gown. And it was a sunny day, I guess. And my mother was at the stove and my father was watching television. And I said, hey, guys, I'm going to my graduation. They said, okay. My father turned around. Okay, see you later. Right. And my mother kept stirring whatever she was on the stove. So they were good parents, but it was very loose kind of family. It was like it's like even if I was a kid playing sports at 5 o'clock, kids would go, I got to get home to dinner. And I would go, for what? And I have parents that were neglectful. It was just, as you say, everybody has a different life.
Right.
So that was it. They were supportive. I'll give you that much. They never said you shouldn't on that.
But I see, for example, myself, my parents all supported, but remember, there was the other generation. I mean, we're talking about, for example, generation, for example, a little while ago, I was talking to someone and we were talking about, for example, my parents, they used to smoke in the house.
Right.
The air conditioning was, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't do stuff like that nowadays.
Look how good we turned out.
Look how we turned out, just fine.
Didn't hurt us.
Yeah. So all good, all good. So you was in Pensaki, and then the first time that so a lot of music in your house, Christmas, like in Christmas.
My father would play guitar. He was a real good guitar player.
What did he like? What kind of stuff did he play?
Well, it was like jazz, but the pop jazz, like all of me. Why not take all of me? And
Because your dad came from like Louis Armstrong generation.
yes, it's funny. It's because he was, when I say World War II, Elvis. He was
Elvis.
He's done by Elvis's time. So he's more like the Benny Goodman or
Big
Swing. He loved Nat King Cole.
Nat King Cole.
So
Mona Lisa.
yeah, there you go.
Oh, Frank. I bet he loved Frank.
Yeah, but not. I mean, but that's the Italian thing, and I'm Italian, so I can say Italian thing. I liked him more as an adult. My mother liked him, but we didn't have that thing where we had the pictures of Frank on the wall, and it's like he's the only good singer is Frank. I think my mother liked Perry Como better, but so we weren't that Italian that it's like you had to worship Frank Sinatra. But I do now like him more now. So I got to tell you, I was watching with my girl. We were watching a documentary. This is like 2 months ago, and we're watching him saying, he goes, I learned, Frank saying, and this is, I want everyone to hear this. All the singers out there. He said, I learned to sing an UH, whenever there was an ah. He goes, it was easier. They taught me. And I go, I've heard people warm up because I'm a reader with an but I never heard sing an I warm up with an sometimes. It loosens the throat. So I said, my God, I'm getting a lesson from him from the grave. He's out there. So there was a few notes. I still sometimes sing live, where I would crack a little on an like, whatever, just the way you are. So Billy Joel stuff and stuff like that. So I switched it to an because he said it in an old documentary, and it does. Whenever you have just say, what would be a good freestyle word? Eyes sort of can be an eye in your eyes, modified a little to an eye in your eyes, from the start, give it a little and don't mind my voice. I haven't warmed up or sang in months. So from a Sinatra documentary 2 months ago, I started doing that, and it does. The feels better, and to the audience sounds like an It sounds like an A.
All right, so today we're killing two birds with one stone. An interview, and a lot of people are getting schooled today about this rounding off. It's a rounding off the oohs and
yeah, you could almost see what words are If you were doing Queen, like Mama, maybe make it slightly a little you-ish. Mama, a little you, and I think it opens the throat a little bit.
Yeah, you think like you think it in you, and you pronounce, and it's somewhere in there between the thoughts and what comes out. It'll be the right.
Singing gets more difficult as you do it longer. When you're young, you just sing it out, and then you get older. I'm having trouble singing the letter E, and like you have to work on vowels. But
wow. Okay. So you was okay. Say for example, what age did you say? Well, I want to make a band. I want to be able to make a band, man.
I did it at a young age, and I haven't stopped. Probably 16.
16.
Yeah.
So at 16, who was your models? Like them late 60s band.
I like the Beatles, but I'm not from that generation. I'm younger than that generation.
Right.
But I went through getting all those records, and I was one of these people. I liked good vocals, so I liked even though I got into Billy Joel, but I liked the Styx and Queen, and I would see Foreigner, and I liked Cheap Trick, and I liked the Cars. I mean, I was not real heavy metal, and if you look compared to Freestyle, that the Cars you got it. The Cars were one of the first bands that added a lot of keyboards. They were guitar based, but they had his name was Greg Hawkes. So it was like, you could say what got me to being able to do freestyle is things like 808s and 909s. Not only did I own them, but I remember when they were brought to the store, and they're on the shelf and you can't afford them. So everything, and I will twist the freestyle. Everything in freestyle comes a little more out of rock and roll, and that's an interesting thing. We used to have freestyle acts that would open up for R&B groups or rap groups, and they would say, "Yeah, we didn't get it." They did. A lot of times they would say, "We didn't go over," and I would say, freestyle sounds more like rock, especially if you think of when we were starting to compete in our area at the Polygon. We were competing with the New York groups, say the Coros and the George Lamons and the TKAs. And I always, I'll be the first to tell you, I like them. I always thought that the New York, I would call it New York style. I called it was heavier. It was breakbeatish. We were always more poppy. Now, if you came to the Poly, and it wasn't always my fault, I always made things, I always felt I had to look back in time. I said, well, what did you get out of my place? And I would say, I think everybody got a little more musical. I always, because of whatever my influences, but I always liked, if you look, I'm a TKA fan. I met Tommy Uzzo. Let me get the name right. Tommy. Oh, I was thrilled. And I was shocked. Me.
Before we dive into freestyle, let me finish so you was in in 14, 15,
92 I was born.
Okay, so right there, you say I want to be able to make a band. I love this. I want to make my first band. So how did that came through? How did you accomplish making your very first band?
You know what? The same thing I'm going to tell everybody. I'm not concept oriented. I'm task oriented. I always put a band together. We always learned 12 songs arguing with each other. We always found a way to get a PA system, borrow somebody's pickup truck, go to clubs and say, can we play? Go to clubs to watch bands, stand in front with your light beer and become friends until they let you open up. I hit the ground running. I came out of the womb running. And I always tell this story, and it's one of my favorites, and it's a good one. We wanted this big agency. It was a woman called Janet Lynn to book us because they had all the nice clubs, and we were probably 17 or 18. And they wouldn't listen to our cassette. They wouldn't answer our phone calls. They had no interest. And then one time we opened up for one of their bands. They said, "Hey, come open up. We'll give you $100." Probably in 1980. And we played at one of their clubs. So they handed the five of us $100. And I said, "Hey, why don't we take $15, put it in an envelope, go to Janet Lynn's and say, hey, we owe you 15%. We played your club." So me and the drummer Mike knocked on the door. We were kids, and they had no interest in booking us before this. And they said, "Can I help you?" And I said, "Yeah, we owe you money. We played at your club." And they were stunned, and they said, "Come in." Next week they met the band. They booked us for years. So you got to think out of the box. It's not like, and I always tell everybody too, and I tell myself, that nothing's easy. I say, you don't ask in this business, you offer. So what does that mean? You want to get with an agency now? That trick you can use only a few times, but you can say, "Hey, I love your website. I love your roster. I'd love to be part of your company. Anything I could do to help a show."
Like that.
And, "Oh, can I open it? Can you give me gigs?" It's like, what can I do to help you? Can I be part of that show? I could help promote it on social media. You have to offer, not ask.
Not ask. And yeah, I've seen that throughout the years. Myself, I've seen a lot of people just like way before they're like not even known anywhere, no platform. They want their money already. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a process to this. In order, if you want to be in show business, and the real show business, there's a process to it. You know what I'm saying? So you young Rob Federici playing guitar. So you were doing your band rock and roll, heavy rock and roll.
Well, I remember we were a little dancey. Did a lot of Prince and stuff.
Okay, so yeah, okay, so Prince.
So it wasn't that, but yeah.
Okay, so who? Okay, you said the name Prince. Who influenced you for you to start making a transition for just rock and roll to like dancey stuff?
I liked computer recording. I even recorded bands up until 1995, and I know we're going to backtrack again because I was well into freestyle by then. And one Saturday afternoon, I was